Welcome to Batshit, a frank and funny look at living with mental illness.
While we'll touch on several illnesses, Batshit is focused on those along the spectrum of bipolar disorders. I'm your host, Adam.
And I'm your other host, Brad.
And we're both bipolar. So strap in and let's see how batshit we really are.
Spoiler alert, pretty damn batshit. This episode's topic, sleep.
Sleep
is, it's important for everyone.
Yeah, I wonder if people use this podcast to fall asleep.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have those smooth, dulcet tones.
Yeah. Well, especially when we have Pillow Talk with Brad.
Pillow Talk with Brad. Brad brought up an interesting thing that he wanted to talk about, and I thought sleep is something that doesn't get touched on enough, but has so much to do with your mental health.
Yeah, both if you have an illness and for people who don't.
Yeah, it's gigantic. It's actually one of the first questions my psychologist asked me. He's like, how's your sleep? And I go, well, I don't dream, and when I wake up, I'm still tired. And he goes, let's look into that. And I go, well, yeah, because if that's supposed to be the time when your body and mind are supposed to recharge, and you're not dreaming, which means technically you are dreaming, blah, 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 but you don't know how much you're dreaming. You're not hitting the REM cycles that you need to hit. Yeah. Right? And that's the time that you're supposed to be recharging your body. And maybe you are hitting the REM cycles, but your body isn't getting rest, then you're just wearing yourself down and down and down and down until you reach a breaking point.
Because your brain needs that rest. But also, sleep triggers so many hormonal responses in the body. Mm-hmm. And so if you're underslept, your cortisol goes up. You know, other hormones and chemicals in your body, dopamine, serotonin, these things lower. Mm-hmm. And they create an environment in your body where it's difficult to maintain good mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are so many tricks, right, that people have for sleeping, like blackout curtains, better mattress.
I have to have the room cold.
Yep.
And brown noise playing.
Brown noise?
Yeah, brown noise. So brown noise occurs at a frequency that's similar, I think, to the alpha wave patterns in your brain. But basically, it keeps your brain from registering other noises.
Really?
So it's not that it covers them up. It's just at the right frequency that your brain's like, I'm not going to register that.
Is it kind of like a piercing sound? Or like a
no,
hum?
It's like a lower version of white noise.
Interesting. I'd never heard of brown noise.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, people have all these tricks and counting sheep, warm glass of milk. And I think that
sex.
Whatever it takes for you to get a good night's sleep, do it. But it can be really tricky. And if you're not sleeping, look into that. Look into that, or the experiences you have sleeping, because that's a time for your subconscious to come out.
Well, right? and that can be a sign that you have something that you're unaware of. So people who are depressed, for instance, usually have a hard time going to sleep at night, but a really difficult time waking up.
Sure.
You know, we've talked before about it's hard to get out of bed, but I don't know about you, but those times when I'm depressed, I can't get out of bed. I'd lay in bed until 3:00 if I could. But I also want to be up until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Doing nothing, like playing a video game or some shit, binging Netflix. But
yeah, you have that weird kind of you recognize the fact that your body's tired, and even your mind is even a little foggy, but you don't have the desire to go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had that. I've definitely experienced that.
And then on the flip side, with mania, you can go several days without sleep at all, and you're fine, which should also be a red flag.
Yeah. So basically, if you have any problem with sleep, your brain may be broken.
Most Americans, I forget the exact statistic, but it's something like 85% of Americans are chronically underslept because of our hustle work culture.
Sure.
First off, we're like, I got to get up at 6 a.m. and get this done and get that done, etc. But there's a thing we do at night. There's it's either a German or a Japanese term for it that I need to look up, because I love that there was an actual word for this. But it's like revenge activity.
Revenge activity?
Yeah. So you feel like you haven't gotten enough done for yourself in the day.
Okay.
You know, you get up, you take the kids to school, you work your job, and then you're like, oh, I got these errands to run. I got to take my kids to soccer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the kids are in bed now. I want to watch TV, but it's 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I should probably be going to bed, but I'm going to stay up until 1 so I get my time.
Oh, that's not nearly as exciting as
no.
I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, dude, does a large percentage of the population go out and, like, you know, kill their nemesis at night like that? I didn't know that.
And then take a nap.
Because now I can sleep. Now I can sleep.
Yeah. But no, so
up my mind.
Yeah, like you're getting revenge for your day by sacrificing your sleep at night.
Oh, okay.
Is kind of the idea behind it. But most people do that. You know,
I mean,
I'm prone to that.
Sure. Even that idea of social media, right? Like, how many of us go to bed after scrolling through social media for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Right? And that puts you oft times in a mental headspace, right? Which is going to not make falling asleep easy. You know, it's
not to mention that studies have shown staring at a screen activates portions of your brain to stay awake.
Yeah. It's you got to do everything you can to sleep. Like, that's the end of it. There are sleep studies that have been done, you know? But at the same time, there's a lot of reward in our culture for not sleeping.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like, I stayed up all night, bro. College, I pulled an all-nighter, bro.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, sleep when I'm dead. Military guys, I can only sleep for like 2 hours and I'm good. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And you know what? If you go chronically underslept for too long, you will start to hallucinate.
Yes.
Like low-key hallucinations, but you will start to hallucinate.
I did a sleep study right before I moved to Los Angeles because I needed money, because I'm an actor. I needed money. So it was a 7-day sleep study, okay? And what it was, you're in a room, and there's no windows, and it's all fluorescent light, and you can't have a TV. And in this particular one, you couldn't get out of bed unless you had to use the bathroom. You just lay in bed, right? And one of the days, 2 of the days, they kept me up as long as I could stay up. And the goal was to hit a certain time. Now, there's no clocks in the room, so I don't know what time they were trying to hit. But I think it was like 48 hours.
How did they keep you up?
So they had someone sit with me, right? So anytime I would start to fade, they'd be like, hey, Adam, how you doing? You know, they'd like try and engage me that way. You can't sleep, don't sleep. And by the end of that, I was seeing shit. I was seeing shit underneath there, like, because there was the equivalent of like a bookcase or a desk or something, like across from the bed, and I swear to God, I saw like a little monkey under there, and there was someone with me, you know, sitting with me, and I'm like, what's a fucking monkey, man? Do you see that? Because I know it's not real, but I see a monkey, and if I remember correctly, it was like a really cute, like, college student who was like, oh, you're insane. And I'm like, yep, I am. But yeah, sorry, tangent, but I've hallucinated. That was it. That was the whole reason for my tangent. I've hallucinated from lack of sleep.
Well, so you think about that, like that's a symptom of certain mental illnesses, right? So when you go without sleep, you're breaking your brain.
Sure.
And so if you already suffer from a mental illness and you're grinding and you're only sleeping 5 hours a night, 6 hours a night, that's eventually going to catch up with you. What is that going to do?
Yeah.
You know, is that going to trigger a manic state? Is that going to trigger a depressive state? Is that going to trigger psychosis, delusions?
Right. And well, you think about it, and we have both worked multiple jobs at a time. We've both worked crazy hours for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
What kind of damage did that do to us?
Yeah. I mean, did that contribute to our bipolar being as severe as it is?
Maybe, or when the onset occurred. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just know, like, in college, I was going to school full time, and I was cooking overnight, and on the weekends I work at the shop working on cars. And so, like, I didn't sleep a lot. Also, I was trying to be social on occasion. So it's like, how?
And in our society, we reward that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Adam's a hard worker.
He's a hard worker.
He's grinding.
He put himself through school because he was, like, working all the time and also going to class, and it's like,
he shaved 10 years off his lifespan, but he did it.
But he got that BA in communications.
Look where that took him.
I'm recording a podcast in my garage. Sad. But that's so stupid that we reward lack of sleep, that we reward people putting their bodies and mind through unnecessary, oftentimes, stress.
Yeah.
Right? I work in post-production for my day gig, and the number of times I've had to stay up 16 or 18 hours because prep was not done the correct way, and we had to fix it in post. Is one of the favorite things that people say out here. And people are like, well, that's just what you got to do. That's how you got to do this job. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not how you have to do this job. The other people have to plan better or shoot better or make it all, or have more realistic expectations for turnaround time. But instead, I've got my guys, in December, one of my colorists worked 72 hours straight with random naps in his bay.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, for what? Because I guarantee you no one watched the show he worked on. I won't say it, but it's like, I guarantee you no one watched this show.
Yeah.
And it's like, when afterwards, he's like, that's just part of the job. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Like, that's not healthy. That's not the right way to be working. That's not the right way to be sleeping. That's not the right way to be living your life. Because I guarantee you, he made just as many mistakes, if not more, because he was tired, right? Then probably double the mistakes he would have ordinarily made, as opposed to giving him like an 8 or 10 hour shift the way they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And again, people go to this guy, go to some of the members on this team because they work like maniacs like that. And there's a pride to it. There's a pride in it. And as long as we continue to reward that, like, what can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? I don't see an answer there.
Because mental health, and really physical health, but mental health more so, is not a priority in this country.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
And our solutions for these things are tangential. Like, for instance, someone was like, hey, Brad, are you getting enough greens? You know what I mean? Like,
take some melatonin.
Yeah, it says, don't worry about sleeping, though. It's like, well, wait, what? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like hold on. And it's that same idea where, look, I know that you have a lot of problems from when you were a kid that you've never talked about and you've repressed down. Ignore all that. Let's just deal with your current marriage and why that might be fucked up. And I'm like, well, don't you think there's a possibility that the way I was raised and the relationships I experienced when I was a kid affected my current marriage? And they're like, let's just deal with the current marriage. I'm like, great. Right. Slap a Band-Aid on the problem. Don't fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We idolize people who repress their needs.
Yeah.
Whatever those needs are.
Yeah.
We repress them.
It's funny because we're such a hardcore, capitalist country, and we hate socialism, we hate communism, blah blah blah. But in many ways, we have kind of a communist mindset in that a person's worth is only judged by what they do and how hard they work at it.
Huh. Yeah.
Which is very much like Soviet Russia. It's like, Dimitri, you are a farmer.
Yes.
This is what you do.
Yes,
that is your identity.
Yes,
you farm.
If I make 13,000 potatoes, I do good work.
We need 15,000 potatoes, Dimitri.
Okay, but 3 of my children died in the field this year.
Good, then you have less mouths to feed.
It's a good point, yes, more potatoes.
Use them as fertilizer.
That's from a little-known Chekov play.
Called The Potato Farmer. That's the one where Chekov said, look, if a potato appears in Act 1, somebody has to make French fries by Act 3.
That's a pretty deep. I don't know if anyone's going to get that joke.
No.
But if someone gets that joke, write us in because we love you for listening. Hey, we make ourselves laugh.
That's the important part. That's the important part.
Potato in Act 1. But no, you're right. Right? It's only as much as you're worth. And, you will sacrifice, and it's very easy to sacrifice sleep.
Yeah.
I think it's extremely easy to sacrifice sleep.
Right, because you can function.
Right.
Like, you're not functioning well, but you can you can get up with 5 hours of sleep, you can slam back a cup of coffee,
right?
Maybe take an aspirin, maybe do this, that, and the other. I'll take a cold shower, whatever it is. You can be awake. You're awake because your body's flooded with adrenaline, which isn't good for you in the long term.
Nope.
By any means, but you're awake and you can go do things.
And you think about the people who need the most sleep often get the least. New parents, desperately need sleep because they're taking care of a newborn child. They get no sleep. Doctors are encouraged to
not
work
to sleep
27-hour shifts,
which boggles my mind. Because when there's daylight savings time, that day that we lose an hour, the following Monday is the highest incidence of car accidents a year.
Really,
consistently, year after year, because people are underslept, and so their motor skills are affected. Now, do you want someone performing surgery on you whose motor skills are affected?
Hey, Brad, we're going to get to that triple bypass in a second. I'm just going to get a macchiato, and then we'll be on this. But yeah, I mean, these are the people that should be getting the most sleep. Soldiers? Warriors? Talk about people that you want on the top of their mental and physical game. And don't get me wrong, I've never fought in a war. I've never been in the military, and I can't even imagine what those men and women go through. And oftentimes, I'm sure they don't have the option to get a full night's sleep. But that's terrible. That sucks for them. Yeah. And it's not fair to them. And it doesn't mean we can change it.
Yeah, it's hard to have, when you think of high skilled jobs, high stress jobs. When you're underslept, you're not going to have focus. Right. That's one of the first things that goes. Your body, for men especially, has a hard time producing testosterone when you're underslept. Produces cortisol instead. That can lead to cravings, and it's easy to gain weight and hard to lose it. The number one thing, I've talked before, I got up to 320 pounds during the pandemic. Started trying to lose weight, cleaned up my diet, started going to the gym, saw a little bit of improvement. When I started making myself sleep 8 hours a night, the fat blowtorched off me.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was just chronically underslept.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If you are chronically underslept, you may not even realize you're underslept and tired.
Right, because you're used to feeling
feeling that way. It's the same idea where you have these people who have had these long-term injuries, right? Their rotator cuff has been torn, right? And they're like, you didn't know you had this? No, I just got accustomed to the pain. That's just what my life was. And it's like, well, I get that you may not know you're underslept, but you know that you're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep a night, right? And if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep a night, whether it be because you are pushing yourself past your limits or because you're having difficulty sleeping, all of these are signs that you need to take care of yourself more. Yeah. And we don't pretend to know what is causing you the distress that is causing you not to be able to sleep, but look at it as a sign and take care of it. That's part of self-care. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that there's multiple countries in the world that have nap time during the day. Yeah. Right? It's nope.
Basically everyone but us has nap time during the day.
Look, everybody, 3:00, everyone lay down for an hour. You know what I mean? Just take it off.
Although in Italy, I was talking to someone about that. I was like, oh, you guys have the siesta, right? And, just like Mexico and Spain. And they were like, yes, we have the siesta. And I was like, so everybody goes home and naps? And he goes, no. In Italy, every afternoon, we go home and make love. And I was like, I love Italy.
Right. And so after that 5 minutes, he sleeps for another 55 minutes. There we go. But yeah, it's you got to take care of yourself. And I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's so stupid that we idolize people who don't sleep.
Yeah. And again, the effects on your mental health, the effects on your physical health, nothing is going to function at 100%. If you're already struggling with this stuff, you're struggling with depression, you're struggling with bipolar, borderline personality disorder, whatever it is, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be able to fight it. Yeah. Yeah. Because your chemicals are going to be all out of whack, your focus is going to be all out of whack, and you're just not going to be able to combat it.
And then think about it like this. You are taking if you are on medication, you are taking medicals to help affect your mental health, right? Mm-hmm. But the mental health is also being affected by the lack of sleep.
Yeah, so you're throwing medication at a problem while making that problem worse. Yeah, yeah. And so you go to your doctor, because this is something too. Like you said, your doctor asked you about sleep. Mine never did. At least not that I recall.
Were you asleep?
I might have been. Or I was so whacked out on cocaine I also don't recommend if you're trying to get your sleep in order.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been,
Yeah.
this has been
Just if any of you were wondering if that was a good sleep aid.
It's a public service announcement by Brad about the negative use of cocaine for sleep.
Don't do drugs.
The more you know.
But anyway, you may go to your doctor and be like, hey, my meds aren't working, and they up your meds, but what you actually just needed is an hour more of sleep a night.
Maybe.
Maybe. Get everything. I mean, we always say, talk to your doctor about all this stuff, but I think you should get everything you can in order.
Yeah.
Like, look, how's your sleep? How's your diet? How's your, getting some exercise?
Because we've talked about this in previous episodes that, like, just eating more quinoa is not going to fix your problem.
Yeah.
Just getting more sleep is not going to fix your problem, but it will help.
And eating more avocado is just going to go to the cartels.
The cartels. We're so sorry. But that idea of, like, you can still help. It still helps if you're getting into shape. It still helps if you're watching what you're
you're not
eating.
going to be able to fix this without medication and therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't even say fix, because you're going to have it the rest of your life.
Treat.
And you have to accept that. You're not going to be able to treat it without medication and therapy, but those other things can help.
Right.
Or they can hinder if they're out of whack.
Sure.
If you're eating garbage and you're not sleeping and you don't get any sunlight and you don't have any form of exercise, even just walking in a day, I would bet you that the people who fall into that category, their medication doses are much higher than the rest of us, because the medication is having to now overcome.
Right. It has to fight so much harder than it should.
Thanks for listening. Help us continue the conversation. Leave us a comment with your thoughts, experiences, or questions about mental health. Every opinion and viewpoint is valid. Just don't be a dick.
The other reason I wanted to talk about sleep is something I said earlier. I don't dream, in that I do not remember my dreams. I can count on one hand the number of dreams I can remember in the last 6 months. And my wife will wake up and she'll be like, I had this dream where, I was riding a unicorn and stars were talking to me. And I'm like, cool. Blackness. Darkness. That's all I remember. And there's all this, faux science about, like, well, if your dream was this, it means this, right? Like, if you dream that you're falling, it means X, Y, and Z. And have you had trouble, or do you dream when you sleep? Do you sometimes dream?
I dream a lot, and I dream very vividly.
Really?
Yeah. Like, to the point where sometimes I have a hard time getting up in the morning because I want to be in that dream more.
Really? And are you, like, aware in your dreams?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. It's like a mixed bag.
Yeah. Not always, but sometimes. Especially the dreams that occur, like if you ever, well, you don't dream, but
rub it in. Go ahead.
I mean, if you dreams are great, Adam. They're so good. Sometimes I'll be dreaming and I start to wake up, but I'm not fully awake, and I'm like, okay, I'm in a dream, and I can kind of go back to sleep and go back into the dream, but now I know I'm in a dream. And what's frustrating is every time that happens, like, it'll be something amazing going on in the dream. I start to wake up. I'm like, I want to go back into that dream. And I go back and I can't get that thing to happen again. Like, whatever it was that I wanted to go back to. It's like, well, shit, now I'm just in my childhood home.
This is worthless. This is no room. Stupid.
But yeah, that's always something. And it's interesting. And I notice this more now that I know I'm mentally ill, is a lot of times, too, I'll have a dream and I wake up depressed from it.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it'll be a dream like, someone I pushed away while I was in a manic state. And, it'll be a dream where we're just hanging out and having a good time and, like, we're friends again. And then I wake up and I'm like, God damn it.
Now, is that also, like, nonsensical dreams? Like, oh man, the sun exploded in my dream, so you wake up sad about it?
My dreams, no, I don't really have stuff like that. My dreams are always, I guess this makes sense being a writer, but they're kind of stories.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's almost like little movies playing out. Now, there might be some nonsensical stuff in those movies, like, oh, this is the house I grew up in, but for some reason it's the size of a shopping mall.
Sure, yeah.
Or I don't know. like, it's raining, but it's raining broken glass, so we all have to stay inside.
Yeah,
something weird like that.
It's a good other example. That was nice.
Yeah, thanks. But so I'll have dreams like that, but for the most part, like there's some kind of story, and I'm interacting with other people.
Okay.
In those dreams, which can be really interesting, good and bad. But like you were talking about the faux science of like dreams mean this. I go back and forth on whether dreams are just your brain dumping shit. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, here's a bunch of information we don't really need. Let's process it, get rid of it. Or if your dreams do mean something, but I think if they mean something, it's impossible for any of that faux dream science to tell you what it means. Because all that stuff relies on like Jungian symbolism. Like if you dream of spiders, it means this. And it's like, well, what if you had a bad experience with spiders as a kid, and I love spiders and I'm fascinated with them? Wouldn't spiders mean something different to both of us?
Right, yeah.
So I think dreams could mean something, but I think that meaning is going to be highly personalized and individualized.
Sure. Sure. It's it's a window. Some people can say it's like a window into your subconscious, right? It's like, so maybe even repressed memories or emotions or ideas, may come out in your dreams. I don't know. But see, the thing that I struggle with is because I don't dream, or I don't remember my dreams. Everyone says to me that like, look, you dream. You just don't remember your dreams. I'm like, okay, I don't remember my dreams. Is it a repression thing? Can my brain not handle what is, you know what I mean? My subconscious? Is my subconscious like, no, we need all of this information. Keep storing it. You can't dump any of this. You need to remember, every Pokemon name. Like, that's what you have to do. I don't know all the Pokemon. But it's, I
have kids.
Yeah, I know you do. But like that idea, it honestly worries me. It concerns me, because there's also a certain amount of creativity that exists. You know what I mean? In dreams, like my wife is extremely creative, and her dreams are wild as fuck.
Yeah.
And there's I'm jealous. There's jealousy there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so part of me, because I've done some research on this, it's like, people who have trouble sleeping, like you're saying, that is a sign of depression, right?
Yeah.
Is not dreaming a component of that? Is
maybe
the sleep that the sleep you're getting not real sleep? So therefore, it counts as not sleeping well? Like these are the things that sometimes, they don't keep me up at night. Because that's the other weird thing. I fall asleep instantly. Yeah. Like I can read for maybe 5 minutes, unless I'm in a different, headspace. But if I'm having an episode. But otherwise, I'm asleep in 5 minutes, and then I'm awake. Yeah. And that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay, so I'll say this with my dreams. The dreams I remember are the ones I'm having when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, like, if you're just popping awake like that, like, does an alarm wake you up?
Nope.
Like, yeah, maybe you've finished your REM cycles, and you're waking up. And that's why you don't remember them.
Well, like I'm in an easy bake oven, like bing, you're up.
Yeah, because like I'm waking up in the middle of a dream usually.
Oh, really?
Like I am currently dreaming when I wake up, and so I remember my dream.
Huh. But again, it's like so the credits have rolled, and then I wake up.
Yeah,
like
the movie theater goes dark.
Like the ushers finish sweeping the popcorn.
Yeah,
and then Adam wakes up.
Yeah.
Huh. But here's the
whereas
other
like somebody's coming into my movie theater and grabbing me by the arm and being like, "Get out of here! You don't have a ticket."
But here's the thing: I will occasionally be woken up by like my dogs, because they're dogs, and we don't have a king size bed; we have a queen size bed, and they both want to sleep on it. So there are times where I will be asleep, and then I will wake up because my dog Beans decided to jump up on my chest. But I don't remember. Like it's not like I'm in the middle of a dream and then Beans snaps me out of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I kind of want to do a sleep study again.
Yeah.
Because I want them to attach electrodes to my brain, and see what's going on up there while I sleep, if I sleep,
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me.
I would be curious, anyone listening out there, do you not dream? Any of you who don't dream or don't remember their dreams, do you have depression or bipolar?
Yeah.
I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see if, like, do you have extremely vivid dreams, like Brad does, like almost like you're cognitively aware that you're dreaming most of the time. Like, is that something you experience?
And I even have like tactile sensation in my dreams. Like
Really?
I can feel things.
See, that's wow.
Like I can feel like hugging someone.
Really
in my dream. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Please, people who are listening, write us, leave a voice message. I'm super curious.
Yeah.
Because us having a conversation about this is not going to fix my lack of dreaming, or Brad's extremely vivid dreaming. But I do think it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, it's fascinating, especially combining it with mental illness.
Right.
Because are you familiar with night terrors?
Yes. Yeah.
So
my sister had them growing up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who might not be, a night terror is where you wake up but you're still dreaming. So it causes hallucinations and delusions. You'll wake up and you think someone's in your room about to attack you.
Yep.
Kind of a cousin to sleep paralysis, except you can get up and move.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But if you think about it, is that what's occurring, again, when you have like bipolar 1 or schizophrenia and you're having psychotic delusions or hallucinating there? Is it kind of the same part of your brain firing?
Maybe.
Are you dreaming while awake?
Maybe. I mean, think about it. Like, is my lack of dreaming just an amplified version of my depression? Because my depression does not allow me to deal with anything, right? So my body's defense mechanism is black it out.
Yeah.
Black it out. Like, you can't deal with these subconscious, these images or these tactile sensations or this, tangential jump that we're making because of your depression. So black it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, going to surprise you guys. We're not doctors. Not doctors. Haven't studied.
I know that's going to floor some.
It's going to floor some people. Let me tell you. We don't know what we're talking about, but we are talking. Because honestly, the only conversations I've had about sleep with people is when a friend wants to tell me about their dream, which I never want to hear about, because 9 times out of 10, they're like, great, man, I know it was really weird that you were walking through those marshmallows and flip-flops, but I can't. Okay, cool. Yeah. Or it's just like, or they're like, man, I'm tired, I didn't get enough sleep. Like, that's it. That's the whole scope of what people talk about sleep-wise. And I'm like, well, there's so much more that's involved than that. Like, and the effects it has on you and the people around you and your mental health and your physical health. And
yeah, there's so much with sleep hygiene.
You mean like brushing your teeth while you sleep?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, just the things that lead to good sleep.
Oh, right.
That we neglect. I was reading something about how many Americans have sleep apnea and don't realize it.
Sure.
If you're snoring and you wake yourself up by your snoring, it's probably sleep apnea.
Right.
And so you're never getting a full rested night's sleep and you don't even realize it. And they say people who suffer from that on average have a 10 years shorter lifespan.
10 years?
Because of the stress it puts on your heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, a lot of interesting stuff there. On the topic of dreams, and I wanted to share this as we share all the weird stuff that we go through. I had for 3 nights in a row a dream where I wrote a suicide note.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it all the same note?
It's the same note.
Really?
Yeah.
Same. Wow.
Yeah. I was sitting at my computer typing it, and it happened 3 nights in a row, and it was so vividly in my mind that I actually sat down and typed it the next day.
You could remember it word for word.
I could remember it, and it's setting in the drafts in my email.
Ew.
Yeah.
Shannon, don't go to emails.
Yeah. And I stopped having the dream after writing it down.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Did it make sense? Did the note make sense? Was it eloquent? Was it... eloquent's not the right word.
I'm trying to think of if I should read it or not.
No. Please read it.
Yeah, maybe I should.
But
what was interesting about it is it's not eloquent. It's not, I tend to write eloquently and dramatically. And, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, it's very like matter of fact.
This is that is this.
Yeah. It's, and it bothered me a lot. So I brought it up to my therapist, and she was like, well, what all is going on, in your life? And, I was kind of talking about just the change and like figuring out how to deal with things without the mania. And, just, I kind of feel like I'm in this, for lack of a better term, like a chrysalis, that I'm becoming someone new through this process. And I don't know who that person is. And she's like, well, maybe that's what the dream was. Maybe you're killing off your old self.
See, that's that interpretation shit, man. And then and don't get me wrong, maybe your doctor's right.
Yeah.
Maybe your doctor's right.
But what worries me is if my doctor's like, I would prefer to believe that, because the other thing I think is like, God, is there part of my brain that's thinking about suicide?
Maybe, yeah.
And that kind of scares me.
Sure. Understandably so.
Yeah.
Because you can't turn that off.
Yeah.
Right? You can't, it's not like you can go into your dream and have a conversation with Dream Brad who's writing that note.
Right.
You just have to accept that there's a part of you that doesn't, that wants to write that note, that wants that action. And that's terrifying, man.
Yeah. It's weird too, because I feel like I've really had like a breakthrough lately where I've let a lot of stuff go. I've talked before about having this guilt my entire life about my mother, and I had like a big breakthrough about that. And like, I don't feel that anymore.
So you don't feel that guilt about that anymore?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I'm hoping that sticks around. I mean, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, this is going to be temporary. I'll go into a depression soon. It'll hit me again. But,
maybe.
But I really feel like a weight's been lifted there.
That's amazing.
And, I've carried that around for 40 years, So taking that weight off, it's kind of strange. So I'm hoping my therapist is right, and it's a positive thing. It's the phoenix burning before it rises from the ash.
It's interesting you had it 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Do you often have repetitive dreams?
No.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like once in a blue moon.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a trip, man. But I mean, yeah, like you said, maybe your doctor's right. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, the other thing I will say about who I am is I have never contemplated suicide, but I have definitely had the thought of, why am I bothering to go on? Why am I bothering to do this? Like, none of this makes any sense. None of it's worth it. And, I wonder if there is an element of that it can be translated into like a dream state. Is there a component of your apathy or your defeatedness, defeatism,
Definition. Yeah.
That could translate into a dream, and how would that manifest? And is that represented? And I don't know. I think there's so much value in sleep, and so little I think we actually know about it.
Yeah.
A dream. I mean, think about it. Dreams. Think about how crazy the idea of dreams is.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, you don't live this life, but now you do in this while you're not, cognitively aware. Yeah. There was a TV show, years ago now. But the whole idea was this guy's a cop, right? He's a cop, and he gets in a car accident with his wife and his son. Okay? And
awake.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and his wife dies, right? So he and his son are like trying to struggle through, and he's a detective and he's trying to solve crimes. He goes to sleep at night. He wakes up, and his son was the one who died in the car accident. I'm sorry. When he falls asleep, it's like he's waking up. And when that happens, his wife is the one who lived, and his son is the one who died. And he's seeing 2 different therapists, one when he's awake and one when he's asleep, and he doesn't know which one is real.
Yeah.
And the crimes are often the same. and manifest in similar ways in the. So of course he's like, "Dream me, help awake me, solve the problem," and I just wanted to share that show with you guys because it was a really fun show. And if you guys are looking for a pre-existing IP out there, you can bring that back. But that's just it's a really interesting concept because the guy's guilt, right? The idea is that the guy's guilt for him having survived, but his wife dying or his son dying helped, cause the manifestation of this other life, right?
Yeah.
In his dreams. So like is the depression I feel, the mania I feel, the guilt I feel, the shame I feel, producing these experiences when I'm supposed to be asleep that is keeping me from sleeping and causing me to just perpetuate the issue with my depression and my mental illness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, again, we're just two guys talking in a garage.
Yeah.
We're not doctors, so we don't really know.
Well, it's like I was saying, like I'll have a dream sometimes where I wake up depressed because like I'm dreaming about somebody that like means something to me that I can't see anymore.
Right.
Or, a friend that passed away or something. And you wake up and you just feel like shit.
Yeah.
And is it your brain trying to work through guilt? Is it your brain trying to work through longing? Is it trying to process things? Or is it just even fucking with you?
Brain's a fucking jerk, man.
Hate my fucking brain.
Fucking needling me all the time. Trying to get me to remember stuff.
But I mean, seriously, like, because you get into depressed states, for instance, and you kind of start thinking in ways that perpetuate the depressed state.
Yep.
So it makes sense that your subconscious would do that too.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, I know this is going to bother you right now. So while you're asleep, I'm going to hit you with this.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a little of this.
Yeah.
Because fuck you.
Do you find, so have you always not dreamed? Has that been affected by your medication at all?
So that's an interesting question, right? Because I don't remember dreaming much as a kid. I don't remember. I do remember specific dreams I have had, right? Like ones that have stuck with me, which means I've obviously dreamt at some point, multiple times. And but getting on the medication didn't cause the dreaming to increase. Having more vivid dreams didn't happen. None of that was a thing.
Huh.
But the other fucked up thing about depression is your memory is affected by depression. It's harder for you to create lasting memories when you are depressed. So maybe I did dream more. I just don't remember because I was depressed.
Yeah, that's true. We've talked about memory gaps with mania.
Yeah.
And misremembering stuff too. Basically, if you have any of this stuff, your memory sucks.
It sucks. It sucks.
It sucks so bad.
Yeah. And hey, get some sleep. Remember that sleep is a huge component to your mental and your physical health. And if you guys have, I want to know, do you dream? Do you not dream? How vivid are your dreams? Is there a regularity? Are they repetitive? I know I made fun of my friends for telling me their dreams a minute ago. So please don't tell me about your dreams. Just give us these descriptors, because that's far more interesting to me.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a pattern.
Yeah, and do you have anything in common with some of the other stuff we were saying? Like, do you ever wake up from a dream and the dream depressed you?
Yeah.
Or the dream, or on the flip side, do you wake up from a dream and the dream made you so happy that you start your day wonderfully? In which case, fuck you.
Yeah, you go to hell. You stop listening to this podcast. This podcast is not for you.
But we still want to hear about it.
Yeah. Still, yeah. But after you write in, just unfollow.
Yeah, go to hell. Go to hell.